cloudy. Typical for this time of year right now. We're going through this, we call it spring. It's more like the new year. It's a fresh new year growing. Everything out there is green and they're getting green, but everything out there here at our place is wet. This is the time when the ground gets ready to bring forth new stuff. Kind of like what's going on in our lives right now. This is the spring, the new beginning. We are full of apprehension because we don't know where it's heading. But it's heading where it's supposed to go. We should be able to take some comfort in that, even though it doesn't a lot of times make sense with what's going on. Everything that happens is happening for a reason. There's no such thing as an accident. There's no such thing as a coincidence. This life has been laid out for us to experience, but it's also on a calendar, a plan. And that calendar is much more immense than we can comprehend it being, because it's not just about the days and how many days in a month and how many months in a year and all that. That stuff has been more or less destined to be, because it was created long before us. But we have to get this whole notion of it's happening to us out of the equation, because it really isn't happening to us. It's happening with us and because of us. But I'm not sure how to get this into context, but our history is not actually, it's nothing that we can say, I lived through this history, because it was all planned out before we ever got here. We experienced it, yes. It wasn't being done to us. And any perception of it being done to us is just part of the energy that we have to play with while we're in this game. So I'm going to start with move this to a topic that most people don't want to talk about. But you can't talk about how you live unless you understand that you don't die. That fear of death is something we put aside, we bury it within our ego, and we don't talk about it because we don't understand it. And we don't understand it because it isn't real. It is not a definition that fits what it is. It's a definition of what a group of individuals decided we needed to have. This negativity that is what we create out of it. So that goes with everything in life. As we go through this life, if something comes up that we don't like or we fear it, it didn't show up with fear. It didn't show up with dislike. It didn't have anything with it. It was an energy that we, for whatever reason, perceived by somebody else that made it a negative situation, or how we accepted the information and created that feeling that it was bad. But it isn't. It's energy, and it is nothing more than the knowledge given from a professor to their students. That's all it is, information. And how we process it decides on whether it's good, bad, or inert. It just is that type of thing. That is an energy that life puts out. It is the projection of life as energy, but it is the interpretation of that life that we decide is good or bad. And that decision has no bearing, because we're only here to experience it. And whether it's good or bad, if we can keep it in the right perspective, it will save us from going down that bad path and experiencing bad things in our mind that we think are bad. But to others, it's not. That's the biggest issue I've always had in my life, was trying to understand why this was happening to me, and why the people that apparently are doing it to me are doing it. It's part of the script. But the thing is that they are supposed to, on the other side of this, experience what they're experiencing, and we are experiencing that transmission of whatever it is they're doing into our being. And we relate how that feels to us, and then we label it. It's good, bad, or inert. That system is really good until you get to the point we're at now. Because the civilization that we are living in on this planet right now has already been set. The minute I was born, my life was locked in. These are the things I'm going to deal with in my life. Boom, 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 boom. And mine came in 5 or 3 year increments, repeatedly, over and over and over. Every 5 years, I built a whole new me, literally. I walked away from whatever it was I was doing before, because I was doing it because I wanted to learn it. But I wasn't doing it to make a career out of it. I don't want to do it all the time. But understanding that particular job at that particular time laid the groundwork for whatever was coming in next in my future. And maybe that was just one more step of knowledge that I need to attain to get to the final goal of whatever that is. In my heart of hearts, I know that that is something I want, something I need, something that I planned on to give me this feeling. So you can't keep going back in the past and reliving that past, because you're robbing time from the future to do that. And you're clogging up your own system with those emotions that you've already felt, but you haven't categorized them into emotions. You're categorizing them into energy that hurts. And our natural response is, if it hurts, you stop it. You kill the pain. However that comes about is part of your game, that you seek all this out. I guess the thing I'm trying to get at is that at this time in our lives, all this stuff that's hitting us is hitting us to show us something else that's going to come out of it. Because we can't put the negativity in the future, or you're just going to take it with you. So you got to put it in the past and leave it. When you cut yourself and it stops bleeding and a scab forms, if you pick the scab off, it's going to bleed again. But then the body tells you that it's coming off when it starts to itch. That always puzzled me. Why does it always itch before it gets healed? Well, that's the healing process. It has to get rid of that scab. It has to work it off, because as the tissue underneath heals, so it won't bleed when the scab falls off. But it's very unsightly when you have a scab on your arm and everybody says, what's going on? So a lot of people, me included, I can't handle having a scab on my arm or anywhere. If I see it, it is something I just put my head on it. I'm constantly touching it, constantly scratching it, constantly picking at it, until it is, in my mind, smooth again. There's no disruption on the surface that I can feel. It's smooth, the scab's gone. And I'm trying to hurry up the healing method, and it doesn't heal it. Not really. In my mind, growing up, it always did. But it never made sense. When I got older, I went, well, that's kind of weird thinking. But it kind of became a thing in my life, because I remember in my mind telling myself, stop picking the scab. It's just going to get worse. So that putting it behind you, forgiving everything, not saying that you were wrong and they were right, or they were right, or they were wrong and you were right. Don't put any kind of judgment on it, because it was a learning experience. That's all it was. The energy of pain, the energy of fear, the energy of all of that doesn't work in the past. It just aggravates the future. You're causing waves in the past that are causing ripples through your life right now. So if you can stop the pounding in the past, the ripples that you're going to feel are going to come from the future, and they're going to be good ones, because now you know that the ripples are not tsunamis. They're just waves that are giving you feelings of what you've been trying to achieve in your life. And it's coming to you now. If the waves are gentle and they're coming to you in an easy way, and that's what Reiki is. That's that energy that you can control with your own body if you learn how. Reiki is that same energy that Christians call Christ. It's the energy of life is Reiki, and how do you move it, and how you categorize that energy changes your whole life, because it gives you this perspective that you do have the power to change that energy. You can mold energy with your very hands. And it's not difficult, because everybody has this power. We do it all the time, and we think it is something else. Because when I reach down and I pick up this coffee mug, what I am feeling is the sensors in my hand touching a colder object over there and hotter over here. I have a difference between this hand and this hand now. Same cup, hot on one side, cold on the other. But the coffee's just right. It's perfect. The purpose was to drink the coffee. Stay with the coffee. Don't worry that this is too hot and this is too cold, because the coffee's just right. I hope that helped. I want to thank you all for watching. I would like to invite you to like and subscribe, and I guess that helps in the algorithm and everything else. Little advertising break. This is for my gallery. You can click the QR code, take you there. And on the other side is my limited edition prints. If you want to look at those, click that QR code. Have a good day. Thanks a lot for listening.